So, Halloween 2024. Can't believe it's 2020, almost 2025 already. This year has just flown by.
I can't even believe it's October. Yeah.
I know, crazy. What do you think about the way Halloween is going? Like, I noticed it's, I don't know, like the candy is so crazy expensive now. It's turning into almost like Christmas. Like, there's lights. In some ways, it's pretty cool because, like, if you remember, like when you were a kid going through Disneyland and stuff like the Pirates of the Caribbean and things like that, and you'd have all those cool animatronics. Well, they have those now, like down at Lowe's. Like you can get these animatronic type,
High quality. Yeah.
high quality. I mean, they're still pricey, but I mean, they're not like thousands of dollars. Like $300, you can get an 8 foot tall skeleton that's like moving around and playing guitar and just all kinds of pretty cool stuff now that they have out there.
Hey, I was the one who, when we were in high school, maybe it was even junior high, I was the house in the neighborhood that had the Christmas lights up all year to the point where you had to replace them when Christmas came back around because they were all weather faded. And I remember one year I said, "Dad, it'd be fun? Let's turn the Christmas lights on for Halloween." And a bunch of kids from the school came to the door and were making fun of it. And then one group came and they were singing Christmas carols. And I think it's how far ahead of the game was I in 1988 to have Christmas lights on, and now everybody sells them, or they just sell lights you put up year round and change the colors with your phone. I was watching a video on the Spirit Halloween stores, which now they have Spirit Christmas stores in certain markets. Yeah, they branched out. And like you said, you walk in there, it's no longer the little 3-foot animated Frankenstein that goes or plays like a snippet of the Monster Mash. It's like 8-foot tall animated Freddy Krueger or fucking Terrifier from the movie series Art the Clown. I'm like, where do you put this stuff the rest of the year? Because you got to store that too.
Yeah, especially if you get like those 10-foot skeletons. I see people in our neighborhood, they leave them out. And like when Christmas comes, like
they put a Santa hat on it.
Yeah, they'll put a Santa hat on it or something like that. And when July 4th comes, they'll put like a America hat on it or something.
Well, my HOA, they have very strict dates on when you can't put stuff up. But I'm a Christmas nut. And so usually by the 2nd of November, I start getting the Christmas stuff down. And I'm like, you know what? And I didn't do it for certain reasons, but I was going to cheat this year. For my Halloween decorations, I was going to do all Nightmare Before Christmas and Jack Skellington stuff, because then I could put trees up with decorations and just kind of like massage that into the Christmas decorations too. But yeah, you're right. It's different. It's totally different as a kid than it is now. It didn't seem that big back then, right? It was like kind of cool.
You went out. I mean, people would put their pumpkin out and everything, and
every once in a while, you come and smash your pumpkin.
So like in Burbank, we both grew up in Burbank, and if you go over to where like the Bob's Big Boy was,
Riverside Drive, yeah.
And then if you kind of went up into the hills right there, people would put a lot of work into their Halloween decoration. That was kind of like the place to go. But now it's like you can get almost like movie special effects type.
Yeah.
There's just like fog machines, the motion sensing, giant freaking creatures, and I mean it's pretty cool in a way.
How bad should we feel for Thanksgiving that it was already getting swallowed alive by Christmas for the last 3 decades, and now it's getting bookended by 2 months of Halloween, which also involves Christmas. If you go to any of the stores, there's that Thanksgiving thing we got to go through in a couple of weeks, and then it's Christmas. It's like it's just insane this time of the year now. It's like it's not as much fun. And I guess maybe that's looking back on it with nostalgic eyes. But yeah, like the Christmas stuff came out in the stores like early October, and you could still buy it the second week into December. Now you have to buy all your Christmas decorations and all your lights by like the first week of November because they don't restock. They don't want to have dead inventory. There is no more after Christmas shopping for that stuff because the spring stuff is already up at Lowe's in December. And the craziest thing about all of that, winter technically starts December 21st. And we act like come January 3rd, snowmen and snowflakes and cold weather don't exist when it really just started. But technically in this world, it starts like November 1st and goes to the end of the year. So when we were kids, was it you who one Halloween night, you took toilet paper from my house and you made yourself into a mummy?
I don't think so.
That wasn't you?
But it might have been. I don't have a recollection of that, but my memory's terrible.
I could have sworn it was you and one of our other friends, because I remember going, I think it was like the last minute and I felt too old for Halloween. And I was like, then at the end, I was like, kids were coming to the door and people were walking around and having fun. And I got angry and I was jealous. And I remember somebody covered themselves in toilet paper. I swore it was you. And I went and got my Oakland A's baseball jacket and a cap. And I carried a big wooden baseball bat. And mind you, we were probably like 15, 16 at the time. And we were like, I'm like, and it dawned on me when we rang the doorbell. I'm like, we're like really big people, and I'm carrying a baseball bat, and this dude's wrapped up so you can't see his face. I'm actually surprised we didn't get pulled over by the Burbank police.
Like 6 foot tall freaking mummy and a baseball player.
I mean, I guess that's one thing I let go. Even Halloween now, unfortunately, in my neighborhood, since everything in Vegas is like a planned community, and we don't really have a lot of children in our small neighborhood, we don't get anybody. I think maybe in the 6 years we've been here, the doorbells rang 5 times across all of those. So I just make sure I buy candy that I like to eat because it's going to still be here on November 1st.
It's strange because like our neighborhood, it's a newer neighborhood, and everyone was just like, the last couple of years, it's like a party in our neighborhood. I mean, it's crazy. But I noticed that this year, as I'm walking around the neighborhood, I'm only seeing like maybe 1 out of every 6 houses have some kind of decorations up.
Yeah.
Whereas like, the last couple of years, it would be like everyone had decorations. So I don't know if it's going to be quite as crazy this year, which I'm not sure why it's changed. I still have fun with it because, I got school age kids. So, I'm still taking them out and everything. It's fun to see everyone in their costume and all that kind of stuff.
What are they doing this year? Who's Steve from Minecraft?
I don't know what they're going to do this year. He hasn't told me what he wants to be. We got to figure it out though, because we only got.
It's in 5 days. You do realize that, right? I mean, maybe you didn't know, but they made it October 31st this year. You might have. Maybe you didn't get the memo.
No, what it is my other son was his birthday's on the 30th, so we're still trying to figure that out, what he wants to do for that. So.
You know, it'd be a good gift, a Halloween costume.
There you go. Hey, here's your Halloween. I got you a bag. You can put your candy in it.
Hey, when we were costumes when I was a kid was going to Toys R Us. And what do you want to be? I want to be a Ninja Turtle. And you buy those things, and it was just like the toxic plastic sheet apron you wrapped around yourself, and that mask.
A little mask with the string that went around the back.
That you had that mask on for like not even 10 minutes, and your face was just sweaty and mush.
It had that little tiny slit right here.
Yeah, it was a little mouth slit. There wasn't even like nose holes. So you were just the hot breath the whole time. That's what we had, man. It was insane. We didn't have the Halloween spirit stores, of which there are so many.
Like $10, not like today. Like, it's like you're buying a whole new wardrobe with the freaking cost of these.
You would have Halloween that. Costumes. You would have that outfit on and your McDonald's Happy Meal pail to go collect all your candy. And
man, like back in the I think it was like the late 90s or early 2000s, I went and got a costume made that I was going to just use, for all. It was like a black robe made out of velvet with a hood, and then a black kind of cape with a hood, custom made, right?
Right.
There was less money than most of these costumes that are just over at Target now.
So my parents took in Burbank, the studios, they had like a costume shop or something that either was there for I was too young to remember why it was there, but they were actually selling like movie used costumes, or you could rent a costume. It was a costume shop, right?
I remember that store.
I kind of remember it. Well, my parents rented me a Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland, right? And this was like, again, the kids with the masks and the plastic aprons were still going around. And here's Fancy Pants Michael with his top hat and his vest and the pants and the shoes. And it was so authentic that I actually walked around with a tea kettle, right? It was a little tea kettle like that, whatever. I mean, it was cool. It was cool in the 80s. Just deal with it. And so I remember, though, I was all excited to do that until I went to the first door and I said trick or treat. And I realized all I was carrying was this stupid ass little copper teapot. And I'm like, where's the candy going to go? Like, the one flaw in the whole costume was I could probably hold a fistful of candy in that thing. So luckily, I would just get the candy. My parents would take it and put it into something, and then I'd go to the next house. And how about all the scares? I mean, granted, I'm sure these things were happening, but do you remember as a kid, it was like people were putting like I don't know if I can say it on YouTube. They were putting dangerous things in fruit, right? Or they were poisoning the candy. They were using needles to poison the candy through the bag so you couldn't tell. And what I always think about with those things is like, and if they aren't, the news is broadcasting these horrible ideas to people everywhere who might be crazy and do it.
Well,
And
that's the crazy thing, because like even up until, I stopped trick or treating, like, my mom would always check the wrappers and make sure, funny business and things like that, check all the candy. And it turns out that story wasn't even true. You know what I mean?
I'm sure. I mean, had to have happened. I'm sure at some point.
Like, a whole generation of kids.
I want to see if I can.
You get those people that would like, hand out toothbrushes and, fruit or something.
Bag of candies. Hey, let's not forget one of the coolest things though is when you would get those McDonald's coupon books for free fries and a free small shake or whatever.
Right?
Yeah, what? They need to bring those back.
Yeah, it's so expensive to go to McDonald's. I was listening to this thing the other day. I'm trying to remember what it was. I think it was McDonald's, and it was one of the employees complaining that I guess if they ring up more than $50, they have to have like a manager come and I guess approve it or something like that. It's like every other person is ringing up because really if you think about how expensive their food is, you can ring up $50 pretty easy now. And so
he
constantly had the manager coming over and he just learned like his password, put it in, and I'm like, but it's not a surprising story because of how crazy fast food is nowadays. But you're not going to get one of those little books, for the free fries. That was so awesome though. And people would give that to you, and like you would have that thing all year long, and you would just say like a whole freaking book, and you go get a free fry 2-3 times a day.
McDonald's, like I said, in the early days when Halloween wasn't everywhere, man, McDonald's was the spot. You could get your Happy Meal, Boo lunch pail, or the pumpkin lunch pail.
Awesome.
And I have a friend
a few years ago.
I thought the pills were actually back this year too. Maybe it was last year, but
maybe
it's not the same. It's just not. I mean, and it's all adults buying them anyway. The kids don't want that crap. That's what we wanted. It's just the neat glow in the dark ghost pail. I had so many of those as a kid.